Very good morning to one and all, and welcome to the next lecture on Python programming. So, in the last class, we have started learning about different functions which are used in manipulating the list. So, we had gone through the append function or the extend function or the insert, etc. So by which we can add some elements into that list. Okay, so in the previous class we have declared a list, or we have used a list. For example, a equal to, we already seen that the list was declared within the square braces. Okay, so in this we have declared multiple number of elements. For example, list is having 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50 elements. So in the previous session, we have seen about the append function. So that append function is used to insert the elements into the list. And then we have seen about the extend function. And then we have gone through the insert function. So in today's session, we are going to cover some more functions which are related to string, which are related to list, right? So the first one is that remove. So the name of the function is remove. So here the remove function is used to remove an element from the list. So in case if we have multiple occurrences of the same element, then only the first element will be removed. So for example, let us see here, a dot remove, okay, a dot remove of something called as 10. So if we do so, and if I print the list A on the output screen, then it is going to print 20, 30, 40, and 50 on the output screen. So previously, the list is having the 5 elements, 10 to 50. And among these 5 elements, I have called the remove function or the remove method to remove the element 10. So after removing the element 10, the list has been updated with 20, 30, 40, and 50. So when I print the list, I am getting 20, 30, 40, and 50 on the output screen. So similar to this value, we can also remove an element from the list based upon its index. So for example, if I call a dot remove of a of 2, then the value which is at index number 2 inside the list A will be deleted. So it is the index number 0, index number 1, and index number 2. So 30 will be removed and the remaining things will be printed on the output screen. So we can use this remove function in order to remove an element with its name, or at the same time it is used to remove an element at particular index. Okay, so see here, for example, if I am having 10, just a second, if I am having 10 for a couple of times, okay, if I am having 10 for a couple of times, and if I call the remove function, so during the multiple occurrences, only the first element will be removed. Not all the elements inside the list will be removed, right? Only the first element will be removed. So here we have the list of 10, 20, 10, 40, 50. Then we call the remove of 10. So the first 10 which was occurred in the list will be removed and the remaining things will not be changed. So if we execute it, we are going to get the output of 20, 10, 40, and 50. Okay, and then let us see about the slice operation on list. So slice operation in the sense getting some part of the list. For example, our list is having 5 elements. If I want to get only one part of list, then we can slice the list. So how we can slice the list in the sense, see here, if I print, for example, if I print something called as, let us say, here we use begin and end. Here we use the begin value and end value. For example, here, if I have given the index value, here begin means the index begin index value and the end index value, right? For example, here I have given 2 and here I have given something called as 5. So I want to print the elements. Okay, I want to print the elements from 2 to 5. So in which list I want to print the element? In the list A, I want to print the elements from 2 to 5. So the elements will be printed which was in the index number 2, 3, and 4. 5 will not be included, right? So if I run this code, it is going to print the values 10, 40, and 50. So because this 10 was stored at index number 0 and it was stored at index number 1, index number 2, 3, and 4. So we are going to get 10, 40, and 50. For example, if I don't maintain this one, if I don't maintain the end index, it will be taken up to the last value. For example, see here, as I mentioned previously, before the colon, we have to maintain the starting index, and after the colon, we have to maintain the end index. For example, at the end index, if I maintain 2 and I just left the initial index, that is the begin index, empty, then the output will be 10 and 20. So here, if we left it as empty, Python compiler will consider it as 0. So it will print the value which is at index number 0 and the value which is at index number 1. Okay, at the same time, if you maintain some index here, and if you don't maintain anything here, it will be considered as n-1. So if I do 3 colon, then it is going to print 40 and 50 on the output screen. So the value which is at index number 3 and the value which is at index number 4 will be printed on the output screen, because 4 is the maximum index in the above list. Okay, so if you don't maintain end, it will be considered as n-1, and if you don't maintain begin, it will be considered as 0. Okay, and at the same time, we have already seen about the reversing of a string. Okay, we have already seen the reversing of a string. Here, if you want to reverse the given list, okay, if you want to reverse the given list, just maintain nothing at the begin index and maintain nothing at the end index, and at step just maintain -1. So -1 means, so the list will be printed from the n-1 index to 0 index. So if you run this code, you can see here the initial list was 10, 20, 10, 40, 50. And if we reverse the list, we are going to get 50, 40, 10, 20, 10 as an output of this list. So this is how we can reverse the elements of a list. And then we can find the length of the given list. For example, len is the function which is used to find the length of the given list. For example, if we call print len of a, and if we run the code, then it is going to print 5 as an output, because list A is having 5 elements. Those are 10, 20, 10, 40, and 50. Okay, so len is the function which can be used in the strings and which can be used along with the list. Okay, so this len function is going to return an integer value, and that integer value will be the length of the given list, right? And then if we want to find the maximum value, right, if I want to find the maximum value in the given list, I can use a function called as max. So if I use max of a, right, if I use max of a, then the maximum value, okay, the maximum value inside the list will be printed on the output screen. So if I run the code, it will print 50 on the output screen, because 50 is the maximum value inside the list. And at the same time, if I want to print the minimum value, and if I want to print the minimum value inside the list, I can go for the function min. So this min function is going to return the minimum value inside the given list. So 10 will be printed on the output screen. And one more thing is that, for example, if I have something called as character X, and then I have a string called as CSC here. Now, if I run the code, So the length of the string has been printed on the output screen because the string is having 7 elements. It was printed, but we are getting an error at line number 3, and we are getting an error at we will get an error at line number 4 if we don't have line number 3 also. Okay, so why? Because when we call this max function or when we call this min function, the list should contain homogeneous elements. So see here, a list may have any type of elements. It may have the combination of integers, floating point, characters, complex, boolean, right? But when we want to use some functions, we cannot use those functions if the list is having heterogeneous elements. So all the elements should be homogeneous. That means all the elements should be of same data type. Why? Because what this max function will do is that this max function will compare the values. This max function will compare the value 10 greater than 20, 10 greater than 10, 10 greater than 40, 10 greater than 50. So all these are eligible comparisons. But when we say 10 greater than x, x is a character, 10 is an integer, and how can we say that 10 is greater than x or x is greater than 10? We cannot say. Okay, so that is the type of error which we are getting. The greater than is not supported between the instances of str and int, where x is a string. Okay, where x is a string, or CSC is a string, where the string cannot be compared with this integer. That's why we are getting an error. So when we want to use this min or max functions, let us have only the homogeneous elements inside the list. Okay, if you don't have homogeneous elements, then it will not be compared. And at the same time, let us assume we have A, we have some strings here, we have B, we have C, etc. And if you run the code, see here, the length is 3. Okay, the maximum value inside the list is C, because when we consider A to Z, Z is the maximum value, A will be the minimum value. That's why we will get the maximum value as C, because we in the list we have only ABC and the minimum value is A. So here all these 3 are homogeneous elements. All these 3 belongs to the characters. That's why we are getting the minimum and the maximum values. So we can have characters or we can have strings. For example, inside this one, if I have CSC, if I have AIML, and then if I have DS, and then if I have ECE, and if I run the code, you can see here. So in the entire string, the program is going to consider the first character. So here, among all the 4 names, AIML, where A is the first character, that's why we are getting it as a minimum. And when we consider CSC or DS or ECE, E will be the 4th character in ABCDs. Okay, so sorry, 5th character, A, B, C, D, E. So 5th character. So E will be the maximum value. Okay, even though it is a string or a character, the first thing will be considered, right? And then, so this is how the minimum and maximum values will be printed on the output screen. And let us assume, let us see, I have one more function called as count. What this count function will do is that print, for example, I want to count. Okay, I want to count how many times DS has been occurred on the output in the given list. So in the which list I am going to check, in the list A, I am going to check the count of DS. If I run the code, I am going to get 1 as an output, because DS has been occurred only 1 time in the given list. For example, I have given civil, and if I run the code, we are going to get 0 as an output. So when we get 0 as an output, right, when we get 0 as an output, it states that the given string was not found in the list. So civil is not present in the list. That's why we are getting an 0. And in case, if we give CSC and if we run the code, we are going to get 2 as an output, because CSC has been occurred couple of times in the given list. So 2 times it has been occurred in the list. That's why we are getting the output as 2. So here, what is the meaning of this count function and what is the use of this count function in Python? It is going to count the number of occurrences of an item in the given list. So we are going to count the item CSC in the list A. So if we count the list CSC in list A, we are going to get 2. And if we count civil, we are going to get 0 because civil is not there in the list. And if we are going to see DS, we are going to get 1 because DS has occurred only 1 time in the given list. Okay, and then now let us declare one more. Let us declare one more, something called as 30, 40, and 50. One more list. I have declared one more list. So let us concatenate these two lists. So we all know that plus is a concatenation operator, right? Plus is a concatenation operator where it is going to add one list with another. For example, if I use print function and if I use A plus B, so A plus B, this here the plus is going to act as a concatenation operator in between the two lists. So if I print this one, I am going to get a combined list of A and B. So these items belongs to list A and these items belongs to list B. So we had used the plus operator. That's why they had combined the two lists into a single list. So they had this print statement just concatenated the two lists. So concatenation means adding one string to another or adding one list to another list. Okay, and then we had one more operator called as multiply operator. So when I say print, okay, print A star 2. So A is a list. I want to print the list A for a couple of times. For a couple of times, instead of writing print of A and print of A twice, we can simply write print A star 2. Now the list A will be printed couple of times. If I run the code, you can see here the list A has been printed couple of times. And if I want to print the same list for 5 times, I can simply give A star 5. And if I run the code, the list will be printed for 5 times. You can see first 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. So it has been printed for 5 times. So by using this plus operator, we can combine two lists, and by using multiplication, that is a star operator, we can print a list for n number of times. Okay, and then see here, there is one more method called as index method. Okay, index method. What this index method will do is that this index method returns the position of the first occurrence of the given element. For example, print index. So the index is that, okay, I want to find the index of DS. Okay, I want to find the index of DS. So index of DS, okay, index of DS, where I want to find the index of DS in list A. So if I run the code, I'm going to get 2 as an output. 2 as an output because DS was stored at index number 2 inside the list A. If you go through the list A, it is stored, CSC was stored at index number 0, AIML was stored at index number 1, and DS was stored at index number 2. So we are getting 2 as an output for this index method. So what this index will do is that it is going to return the index where the given value was stored inside the list. For example, let us consider CSC here. If you observe CSC has been occurred couple of times. And if I run the code, I am going to get the first occurrence. So CSC was stored at index number 0 and CSC was stored at index number 5. So although the index CSC was stored at 2 indices, I am going to get the first occurrence of CSC. Okay, so this is the use of this index function. Okay, it is the use of the index function. And then I have a function called as sort function. I have a function called as sort function. So what this sort function will do? This sort function, okay, this sort function is going to print the values in ascending order. Is going to print the values in ascending order. How? Let us see. There is a list B. Okay, there is a list B. So B is having the values 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. By default, the values are in ascending order. So let us consider the list A. Okay, list A. Let us call list A dot sort. Okay, list A dot sort. And if I print the list A, okay, if I print the list A, you can see here, among the alphabets, A comes first. That's why AIML has been the first element inside the list after sorting. And there is no element with B, but there are two elements with C, that is the CSC at position number 5 and CSC at position number 0. That's why we are getting CSC for a couple of times. And on D, we have DS. That's why DS has been printed. On E, we have ECE. That's why ECE has been printed on the output screen. So if we are sorting, if we are using the sort function on the strings or on the characters, they will be considered from A to Z. Okay, so let us assume this one, it is 100, it is 310, 30. Let us see, it is a minus 20, and it is minus 40, and it is 500. So I had just updated the list. Now let us sort the list. If I call the sort function on this list, b dot sort, okay, b dot sort, and if I print A, if I print B, okay, if I run the code, I am going to get the values in ascending order. Among all the 5 values, minus 40 is the least value. That's why it has been printed. And then minus 20 and 30, and then 100 is the least value, and then 500 is the least value. So here the values has been arranged in the ascending order. Now my question is that how to get the values in descending order? For example, it is a list, just I want to get the descending order. So after sorting, okay, after sorting, if you print, see, if you print the values in reverse order, then it will give you the descending order. Let us see here. Print, how to print the values in reverse order? Just we have seen this one. So we have to provide the begin index, we have to provide the end index, and then we have to provide the step. Okay, so for which list we are going to find the reverse order? We are want to the reverse order for the list B. So don't maintain anything in the begin, don't maintain anything in the end, but at step maintain -1. If you run the code, see, it is the ascending order and it is the descending order. So the elements may be in any order. Okay, the elements may be in any order. If you want to sort them in ascending order, just call the sort method. If you want them to be in descending order, after calling the sort method, just use this syntax in order to get the descending order of the given elements. Okay, now I think it is clear. Okay, and if everything is clear, we are going to see about the clear function. We are going to see about the clear function. So what is the clear function? Clear function, it is used to delete all the elements from the list. For example, A dot clear, and then I want to print the list A dot clear, and I want to print the list A. If I run the code, I am going to get an empty list. Initially, A is having CSC, AIML, DS, ECE, and CSC. If I call the clear function on the list A, the entire things are going to be deleted. So we are going to get an empty list here. And similarly, if I go for B dot clear, if I go for B dot clear, see B dot clear, and if I print B, then the list B is also going to be cleared. So this clear function, okay, this clear function is used to delete, okay, is used to delete all the elements at a time. Okay, now If anybody is having the doubts till now, you can raise your hands. If anybody is having the doubts till now in the length function or in the maximum function or in the minimum function or in the count or concatenation operator between the list, and then the next one, multiplication operator in the list, index function, sort function, or clear function, or printing the values in reverse order. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, we are going to look at a simple program on list. From the next class, we are going to cover the things regarding the tuples and dictionary. Okay, so today we are going to look at the program here, searching, right? Searching whether the given element was present in the list or not by using simple Python program. Okay, I'm deleting all these things. Okay, so see here. In order to store a list in Python, let us have a list A. It is an empty list, and with this one, and I am going to have a value of I'm going to have a Boolean variable with false value. Okay, after this one, I am asking the user how many number of elements do you want in the list? How many number of elements do you want in the list? Now I'm going to read, so n equal to if you want to read something during the runtime, you have to go for the input function. When we use input function, by default the things will be string type. If you want to convert them to integers, please use int keyword before the int function. So now here let us see my aim. First I want to take the n value. For example, the n value is 5. I will ask the user to enter 5 values. So if the user enters the 5 values 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so if the user enter 5 values, then I will ask the user to enter the search element. For example, if user enters 3, then I want to print the given element was present in the list. If user enters something called as 13, then I want to print that the given element was not present in the list. Okay, so this is my aim. So I just want to search an element in the given list. Okay, for this I have taken the n value as an input. Now I will ask the user, okay, enter n elements into the list. Enter n elements into the list. Now user will give n elements. So I want to read those n elements. Okay, I want to read those n elements. For that, I'm going to take a for loop for I in range. The range is that the starting index will be 0 and the ending index will be n. For I in range 0 comma n, okay, for I in range 0 comma n, I want to take one more variable, c equal to int of something called as input here, c equal to int of input, and within that a dot append of c. So we have gone through this append function. What this append function will do is that it is going to add one element to the list. Initially the list was empty, so now each and every element will be stored inside c, and the c value will be appended each and every time inside the list A. Okay, after doing this one, right, I want to ask the user to enter the search element. Print enter search element. So I am asking the user to enter the search element. So now I am going to store the search element inside the variable search equal to, I have to convert the input as into integer. So search equal to int of input. Now we got the search element, And now I am going to search whether the given element was present in the list or not. For I in range, okay, for I in range 0 comma n, okay, for I in range of 0 comma n, if, okay, if search element equal to, okay, if search element equal to I, or we can say a of I, if search element equal to a of I, then what I want to do is that I want to change the Boolean value to true. I want to change the Boolean value to true. And now if, okay, if b equal to true, if b equal to true, what I want to print on the output screen? I just want to print the given element was found. The given element was found in the list, right? The given element was found in the list. In case if the b value is not true, what I have to do? I need to take else, print the given element was not found in the list. The given element was not found in the list. The given element was not found in the list. So if I run the code, so let us see here, the things will start here. So it has asked how many number of elements do you want in the list. So for example, I want 5 elements in the list. So n value will be updated to 5, and here enter, the n value is 5, enter 5 elements into the list. So if I press enter here, it will ask, the program will ask the user to enter 5 elements. For example, my 5 elements are, just a second, my 5 elements are 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Then the program is asking me for the search element. If my search element is something called as 51, and if I press enter, it has given the given element was not found in the list. Let us update this one. So the given element was not found in the list. So if I run the code again, I have entered the 5 elements, and the 5 elements are 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, and my search element is 30. Just a second. Even though we enter the 30, we are getting the output, the given element was not found. Just a second. Let us see, the elements is 50, 5, 30, 40, 45, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just a second, I think we had made something mistake here. 5 elements. Just a second, the program was not. You can see here. So now we are getting the desired output. So we have entered 3 elements in the list. So the 3 elements are 10, 20, 30. And we have asked the user to enter the third element, to search for the 30, whether the 30 was present in the list or not. So if I do so, the program is giving that the given element was found in the list. So if I enter something, some number which was not in the list, so the program is going to print the given element was not found in the list. So This is the program to search whether the given element was present in the list or not in Python. So with this, I'm going to close today's session. So if anybody is having the doubts in today's session, please raise your hands. If anybody is having the doubts in today's session, you can raise your hands. If there are no doubts, I'm going to close today's session. Yeah, okay, thank you. And we will meet you in the next class with some of the operations regarding tuples. And tuples will not have such long operations because tuples are immutable. They cannot be changed. Because they cannot be changed, we cannot do more operations on tuples, right? And we will see about the tuples and dictionary in the next class. And thank you very much.